Can you deal with negative feedback? How do you like to receive feedback? Some of us like it straightforward, others gently and softly. Others don't really care, as long as there is a little bit of some positive aspects in there as well. I remember when I was studying at university in Portugal, and some professors used to be very direct with their negative feedback, no padding. Some would try to add a little bit of positive elements afterwards, though not everyone did so. It was mostly direct and negative upfront. It felt very hard sometimes, and my ego suffered with a reflection of those comments on my sense of self-worth. Then I spent some years in the UK. Negative feedback was never ever given before some positive elements were introduced first. And even then, it would be given in a very soft way. You could almost miss it if you did not know how to read a little bit between the lines. Initially, it surprised me and pleased me. It was so different from the normal Portuguese style I was used to. But then I confess I started to get anxious to get the fluff out of the way and just give it to me. I sort of felt like I had to wait a whole 20 to 30 minutes before I got to the point. For a while, I also worked in an international political diplomatic context. And it was almost fun to see how most could play with words, no matter the national background, in such a way that a critique could be delivered as if it were a compliment. You would be left wondering, which one was it, really? Now in the Netherlands, things are very different again. The Dutch are well known for their directness in most things, and sharing negative feedback is no exception. However, it did feel different. Maybe it was because I was more mature and my ego was more under control, but it was easier to take it as something that was not personal. With time, it was easy to see that they were going for honesty and efficiency. It was not personal at all. We each have our preferred way of receiving and giving feedback. However, what we often don't realize is that most of these preferences are directly related to our cultural and educational background and experiences so far. Once you cross borders or work in a multicultural team, the default way to give and receive feedback can be quite different from the one you were initially used to. In my case, I think I have now developed a mixed style based on multiple sources. If Gert Hofstede was among the first to study some of these cultural dimensions, I just loved the way Erin Meyer explained it all in her book, The Cultural Map, noting that the propensity of some countries to being more or less direct in how they gave negative feedback, was there any positive in the mix or not, while balancing it with whether it was given explicitly or implicitly, meaning, did you have to read in between the lines or not? Was it low or high context? So how can you find your way among all these? How should you deal with such a wide variety of feedback in a healthy and productive way? Well, here are my 5 tips based on scientific insights to help you. First, emotional regulation and resilience. Research in psychology emphasizes the importance of emotional resilience and regulation in coping with negative feedback.